All these varieties are DOP. They're all grown in Italy in the Campania area. They are San Marzanos. They're all certified. They're all certified that they are grown in that area. They say that the reason why they're the best tomatoes and the sweetest tomatoes are because they're grown where a volcano erupted many, many years ago. And the soil is very, very rich, similar to the agave. They say the best agaves in Mexico are closest to the volcano because the soil is very rich in minerals. So that's why they say the sweetness is already there. You don't really need to add any sugar or anything to it because there's not much citric acid and they're very, very sweet. And it is true, they're definitely different tomatoes. They're definitely very, very sweet. You're going to see ones that are young, ones that are not. This one's relatively ripe. It's basically falling off, but when I go through this same can, you're going to see one that's pretty sturdy. They're definitely different in size, so you're going to see, a pretty large San Marzano to a pretty small. As we go to the Rosa label, this one's very, very ripe. This one's very, very young. You can almost see it yellow still. And the sizes are pretty different. This one's very, very ripe. This one's right in between. We go to this can, you got a lot of different shapes too. Some that are ripe. These were all supposedly hand-picked. But, it's just kind of interesting from can to can to see what you find. So the Stranese, similar to the other cans, some ripe, some very stern. The Lavals, I was going through a few cans of these. They didn't look too bad. They were a little smaller than the other ones. And these were definitely not as ripe as some of the other cans that we showed. The Ital Brand, these are pretty long in length. These are, I prefer the longer ones rather than the shorter ones. But you're going to see some ripe ones in here. I think it all varies from can to can or from season to season. When you go to the Cecco, these ones are relatively long. That's kind of interesting. Look, the peel's still on this one, and that's something that I don't think you'd want to see. So that's kind of interesting there. You're going to see some peels. And then to the Cento, these are all pretty firm, but look relatively ripe. This is the Cento tomatoes. This is what came out, and this is the Rosa. I mean, you're going to tell a totally difference. This is so young. Either a first pick or just they're in a hurry. And then you look at the Cento tomato. This is very, very ripe. It's pretty much perfect tomato. So that's kind of interesting. But out of all these varieties, I'd say the Cento is probably one of the better ones. The Ital Brand is very good. I was impressed with a couple of these others, though. But then again, when it comes to canning, I grew up on an orchard in a farm. When the canners came in, they picked our apricots, and they chose like the #1 apricot to go into their can. So it's kind of funny to see when you see some of these cans that have such young fruit. It's almost a #2. You call it a cull. A cull is a bad fruit, or #2 would be like, the second fruit, which isn't very good. So it's kind of interesting to see from can to can when you have small ones to big ones. Because when canners came to our farm, they looked at the best, and that was it. So it's kind of interesting. Marzanos, but they're not actually grown in Italy, or they are grown in Italy, but they're not grown in the area that is protected. Or you have some that are grown in the U.S. that are quite good as well, and they're hand-picked. The Alta Cucina is a very, very good brand. It's very long in length. It's an awesome product. You're going to see they're very, very ripe, and they're rich in flavor. But then you go here to the San Marzano. This is very misleading. It's not even close to being a San Marzano. You see these in the stores, and it's just a fraud. It's just kind of funny. You see these, they're little balls. They're not even what a San Marzano should be like, very long in length. So you get very misled in this. You see it, it's written in Italian, and it's just, this one's very misleading. It says grown domestically in the U.S., so look for that. And it has no seal at all. It doesn't have any seal down, so you know this is a fraud. So you're looking at these Bella Terras. It's a San Marzano organic. It probably is. It is imported from Italy. It doesn't have the seal on this, but you're going to see it's relatively long in length, but it's still, you have some small ones in here that aren't, and you have ones that are decent in length, so, and a little bit of a peel, so that's not very good at all either. The Labella San Marzanos, they're not DOP, they don't have the seal, but they're very, very long in length. I've opened up a couple cans, and they're not too ripe, but they are pretty stern. You're going to see this yellowness on here. That's not going to be very sweet, but it is a San Marzano, and it is from Italy. Then you have the Cento. This is a non-DOP, and then you have a Cento DOP. When you take the Centos out and you match them, the DOPs definitely seem sweeter. These seem a bit harder. And this is the DOP right here. You're going to open them up and look for the seeds. Usually San Marzanos don't have much seeds. And these ones seem like they have a little more seeds than normal. This one though, these ones don't seem like they have many seeds at all. This is relatively ripe, this isn't. If we go back to over here, I really don't recommend this at all. I think this is a horrible canned tomato. It shouldn't be called San Marzano, but that's what the name of the company is, or something like that. But I personally think that it's a really, really bad tasting tomato. As any substitute for a San Marzano, these Alta Cucinas are the way to go. I've used these in a restaurant before. They're whole peel plum tomatoes. They're hand picked, and I went to their plant, looked at how they pack and how they grow, and I was pretty impressed by the Stanislaus food plant. It was pretty impressive. So look for those. And Cento, both of them were pretty similar in flavor. Really depends on the time of year. These were the DOP, like we said. These have the certified and the stamp of approval. This one did not, but they're actually very, very close in flavor and acidity.